you ever received a punishment disproportionate to your actions in school? Sure, you may have accidentally brought nail clippers in, but did they really have to suspend you for it? They acted like you brought a knife to school. Well, this happens all the time. Zero tolerance policies do not leave much room for interpretation, so the consequences are the same across the board. Sure, this seems like a good idea and has prevented some terrible things from happening, but most students know the negative impacts from first-hand experience. Today we'll be talking about zero tolerance policies and the impacts, good and bad, that they have on students and institutions. First of all, what exactly is a zero tolerance policy? Sure, as students, we've all encountered them, but it usually isn't explained in plain English. Merriam-Webster defines a zero tolerance policy as a policy of giving the most severe punishment possible to every person who commits a crime or breaks a rule. This goes in line with the example I just used with the nail clippers. A school may have a zero tolerance policy for sharp objects, so nail clippers are breaking this rule even if you may not see them as a threat. The student who brought them in will receive the most severe punishment for this, on par with someone who brought a knife into school. On the other hand, there are benefits to this level of extreme. There has been an influx of weapons being brought into school in the last decade, with school shootings and lockdowns as the new normal. Zero tolerance policies were first enacted as the Gun-Free Schools Act in an effort to keep weapons out of school. If students know that even nail clippers won't be tolerated, they're much less likely to bring in a knife or gun. Federal legislation was passed under this act that requires any student possessing a firearm in school to be expelled, and it has been extended to other weapons and even bullying. Zero tolerance policies also eliminate the possibility of favoritism. With everyone receiving the most severe punishment with no room for exceptions, nobody can get special treatment. However, students with behavioral, emotional, and learning disabilities are often hurt by these policies. These students are predisposed to the severe consequences of zero tolerance policies. Students with special needs often cannot control some of their behavior, and should it involve violence, they are at a greater risk of expulsion. Studies indicate that special needs students are more likely to disrupt class. Furthermore, these students are more likely to display behaviors that fall in violation of zero tolerance policies. Those behaviors are very circumstantial and unique, but zero tolerance policies will still apply as they would for any other student. This places an unfair burden on students with special needs and further stigmatizes them in the eyes of their fellow students as well as the educational system. In shorter terms, zero tolerance policies mean well and are a no-nonsense approach to a very dangerous problem, but they target and stigmatize students with emotional, behavioral, and learning disabilities.